Watch you throw the ball, we gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through fourth and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Dive.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to another episode of Trap or Dive Podcast. I am your host of the Trap or Dive Podcast. AJ is on the way. Dre is on the way. While we are waiting for the fellas to get through the administrative items, appreciate everybody checking out live in the chats, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Monty, what's up? Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're on the YouTube side, man. We definitely appreciate that. Twitch, Twitter, however you watching, man. Appreciate y'all watching live. If you want to migrate over to the YouTube side, hit that subscribe button when you can. But however, which way you watching, we appreciate that. Audio side, hit the button. Rate and review if you can. It takes 10 seconds to do so, and it's free to show your support that way. On the show today, we do have Tashan Reed. For those who are unfamiliar with the name, he is... What's up, Dusko? Or Dusko? You caught me off guard. Not like in a bad way, but that was definitely a conversation that or a conversation to myself that I was having on, or tweeting out loud, or tweeting my thoughts. Yeah. I know. It nothing wrong. Just a little off guard, but yeah, for sure. Like, people don't understand though. Because even AJ was trying to tell me to get rid of it. I'm not like, oh shoot, 1 second. I'm not like overly against moving on from my insurance provider, health insurance provider, but like I got a deep history with Kaiser for like all of my health issues. The one I openly talk about is Crohn's disease. So like, yeah, like it's not easy for me to just give her to Kaiser. Like, it's a little hesitancy behind that, especially with the medication I got to take. So, yeah, man. What's up, though, Dusko or Dusko? I don't know how to say your name, but I'm going to just say Dusko. I would say Didi. I don't know. Dre, what's up? What you playing? How you feeling?
Shit, man. Good. Shit, I mean, the team some shit, but I'm good.
Oh, Lord Jesus. Oh, I got distracted. I'm sorry. I said Tashan Reed. If anybody isn't familiar with Tashan, he is new on the beat, Commanders beat reporter for the Washington Post now. And he came from the Raiders beat, and he's now in Washington. I think he was officially the beat reporter for Washington like by week 3. So it'd be good to get his perspective on the mob, because at this point, shoot, he covered a terrible team in Vegas, and now, like, the highlight of Washington is Jaden Daniels and star power in a sense, and boy, did he come to the team at one of the worst times. Just this season has been rough so far. Dre, so one thing, you know what I noticed, bro? So somebody said, remember that, where is it at? The review that I read, one of the latest reviews that I read, who was it? It was Marcos. He had said, you got to stop smacking your mouthpiece every 10 seconds, another smack. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm so confused. Do you remember that? Do you remember that little moment?
Yeah, I remember when you mentioned that. Yes, I do.
I was so confused. But somebody said on YouTube in a YouTube comment, he was a new watcher, and he said that I smack right before I talk. So like I'll have a smack, and I'm like, I thought it was interesting because it's like I know people have these quirks that people like. I do it too. Like when I hear some people talk, or even when I hear you and AJ talk, like I've listened to y'all so much that I know how y'all talk and know what y'all gonna say, like the way in which y'all say it.
Yeah.
So like I know people like listen to things. I'm like, damn, I didn't even realize I did it. I played it back. I was like, damn, like this me.
But see, we listen to you so much, like you said, we don't even notice. But hey, look, Moneyball, I know you ain't getting sensitive, bro. You be saying, look, according to you, I don't have my own opinion. All of my opinions come straight from DC Sports Radio. I don't have an opinion. Natty said, I'm taking personal shots.
Was this
lying
online?
The other day about Forbes. He was lying. No, he
the Forbes zone. Okay.
He's still talking about that when he said Forbes was balling, and I said he was lying.
Hey, if Moneyball can get us distracted, like in the best way possible, bro, with some of the stuff he says, if there's something he could do it, Moneyball. Like he can make us forget anything that we were talking about.
I know, because he'll just pop up, he'll throw a shot at us, and then it's like most of the time we be trying to be quiet, like we gotta ignore Moneyball, but sometimes I can't ignore it. And then he gonna say, I'm the one taking personal shots.
All right. Let's get into our side of things, man. So Tashan's gonna be coming on in about 15, 20 minutes. So we can start off our first half of the show with our preview. Monty, Moneyball, Didi. Y'all let me know how y'all feeling about this game overall. Everybody else that's watching live, if you want to, give your thoughts as well, definitely feel free to put it in the chat. But Dre, like when I look at this game, there it is. I just heard it. But
see, now you're gonna hear too much.
Yeah, I know, bro. And it's like I ain't even doing too much.
Block it out, bro. I mean, hey, just block it out. You good? Yeah, it's just something to a new listener. You know what I'm saying?
Like, yeah. So when I think about this game though, and like I hear like the best way to beat Kansas City, sometimes I think about like people say ball control, right? Like keep Pat Mahomes off the field. And I understand that angle, right? And as I get into this, Debo and Terry has been a full participant in practice so far this week. Or at least today. I didn't look at the full injury report, which I should. But when I look at like the ball control aspect, this isn't even a knock on the defense. It's more so a credit to Pat Mahomes in the sense of you can't sit here and think playing keep away against Pat Mahomes for 60 minutes in a football game is going to prevent him from scoring like the touchdown, right? The only thing that I think about when I think about the Kansas City Chiefs and the teams that lose to them, you have to be perfect against Kansas City. You cannot have, especially if you're like a mediocre team or you're playing mediocre football in the moment, even some of the better teams, they can bring their A game to Kansas City. Not like literally to like whenever they're playing them, wherever they're playing them. And because you couldn't get right on special teams, they capitalized. Because your secondary couldn't prevent a defensive holding or a DPI, but you got home on Pat Mahomes, or you created that pressure that caused a pick. Like every single team that you can think of that usually like has these really good moments against Kansas City, but can't close the deal is because they found a way to lose the game themselves. And that's what I think about when Washington goes up against Kansas City. Do they have a chance? In theory, every team against Kansas City has a chance, right? But then I look at just the ability to eliminate the self-inflicted mistakes. That's going to be the biggest thing for me when I look at this team. It's not about ball control. It's not about protecting the football in a sense. Of course, that's important. Of course, like keeping your offense on the field is important. But I think the biggest key for these guys in a game against Kansas City, let's think about the last time they was on the road in Kansas City. I think it was that 2017 game.
Yes.
You're deep into Kansas City territory with an opportunity to take the lead. Josh Dawson drops the ball in the end zone. Perfect throw by Kurt in terms of the back shoulder. You're throwing to a 6'3" dude who got like a 45-inch vert. Like, that's a perfect ball placement for Dawson. And he comes down and drops the ball. You settle a field goal. They drive down. And again, this is not Pat Mahomes. But at the same time, this is an Andy Reid Chiefs team. They drive down the field in, 30 seconds, regulation, kick the game-winning field goal? I say all that to say, and my point has already, I've stated it, just like the biggest thing for me is just eliminate self-inflicted mistakes. you have an opportunity so long as you keep yourself in the game, not like finding ways to lose this shit against a top-notch team and a well-oiled machine.
And not only that, Maul, I know you say, one of the things you have to be damn near perfect when you play Kansas City, but the thing I noticed, the teams that usually have success against them, or at least give them a good scare, they're aggressive. Like, they play Kansas City aggressive. They don't play Kansas City scared. I don't think the right approach going into this game is to say, let's just try to play ball control, keep the ball out of their hands. No, you have to, because at the end of the day, the offense is the strength of this team still. Now, we're supposedly getting some reinforcements back. Jaden may not be playing, but if Terry comes back, Debo comes back, Cliff has more weapons at his arsenal. That should help the run game. That should help everybody in the pass game. It should help Mariota out. So with that said, you're going to have to be aggressive. And when I say aggressive, I mean a sense of urgency out there as an offense. And when I see these teams, when I talk about the teams that have success against Kansas City, I see these teams going for fourth downs. Like, they really want to punt the ball, because if you punt the ball, it's almost like giving up a turnover with a score. Like, that's the threat that Kansas City poses to any team in the NFL, especially this defense. So you're going to have to go into this game with this sense of urgency. That's going to start with the coaching staff. Dan Quinn is going to have to preach to everybody throughout this building. We're playing with a sense of urgency. We're playing like this week is our last game, as if the playoffs is on the line this week, because you got to go out there and you got to have a sense of pride when you play against Kansas City. You can't go out there and play timid. You can't coach timid against them, because Andy Reid's not going to be timid. Kansas City's not timid. That's a team with a championship pedigree. Now, Washington hasn't matched anywhere near that intensity of a championship pedigree this season. They were close to it last year, but we haven't seen that this season. So Dan Quinn's going to have to go out there. He's going to have to give these guys that kind of motivation. And Cliff Kingsbury, with the more weapons at his arsenal, Terry and Debo comes back, I expect the offense to perform at a higher level, even with Mariota playing at quarterback. Now, I don't think Mariota's Jaden Daniels, no, but I do think this offense can run at a high level when Mariota's out there playing quarterback with all of his weapons. We've seen that against the Raiders. Now, the Raiders are a bad team, but that's not the only team they've looked good against when Mariota has been the quarterback, when they've had, mostly a healthy team. So, no, I expect the offense, and I'm looking at Clifford in this game. This is a game where I'm expecting you to set the tone. I'm expecting Cliff and them to go out there and be aggressive. I'm expecting Cliff and them to kind of put this team on their back at this point. And whatever happens with the defense at this point, it happens. I have no expectations of them. I listened to Quinn's presser today where he says, we're going to play better, whatever, yada, yada, yada. Sounds like coach speak to me. I'll believe it when I see it, but I can't go into this game relying or thinking that this defense will be better than we've seen, especially when you lose a Dorrance Armstrong. So this game for me is going to rest on the laurels of Cliff and what he can do with those guys out there.
Now, from a scheme standpoint, bro, I do want to talk about Dan Quinn, his pressure. But like from a scheme standpoint, when I think about the offense, Kansas and Spags, like he has an identity. He has a pressure identity. He has a well-coached unit consistently throughout the years. Now there's a conversation about Chris Jones in Chiefs land from the people that I follow. Not recently, but they talk about him in terms of like his effort. But like that's a future Hall of Famer that they got on that defense side of the ball. You say that your eyes are on Cliff, and my thing is like, how do you feel like that matchup could go? The last 2 weeks, Bill has been stifled in the ground game. The ground game overall, outside of the quarterbacks, the ground game has been stifled. I don't know. I mean, it's a good sign that Terry and Debo is practicing, right? But I don't know if like they're actually playing. I have no idea. I hope that they are, right? Especially when you're full participants this week. And honestly, I think Marcus, of all people in the spot that he's in, is like he needs them more than Jaden needs them.
Yeah.
So I would love to know like how Spags or Cliff is preparing for Spags to really like make sure that this team is super prepared. Like I think about even Josh Connolly, right? Who was there? This is the 5th best defense in the NFL. They're the 3rd best in points allowed. I'm trying to find their pass rusher that I like.
George Karlaftis.
Karlaftis, yes.
Yeah.
Karlaftis, young dude, 24 still. And I like that's a guy. I don't know exactly like how they align him, like if he plays both sides of the line or if he plays on one side. But I know if they are limited on edge rushers, they ain't about to use him on Laramie. So yeah, so like I would love to know just kind of what their plan is, Cliff specifically, but also like understanding how creative and confusing Spags can get in situational downs. I think that's going to be a big deal. It is important that you mentioned Mariota because like if there's one thing that I noticed with him, I didn't know that Washington, I think, has only beat Kansas City one time in their entire like the history between each other.
We're in Kansas City.
And they've never beat them in Kansas City, but Marcus Mariota is 2-0 in his time in Tennessee against Kansas City. So it's like you have somewhat of an edge in the sense of like you got somebody who's comfortable against Kansas City and Andy Reid and Spags. But that's my interest is like how will Cliff be able to prepare that front for Kansas City and Spags, because I think if you can't get anything going up front, you're gonna have a long day against these guys. I think their secondary is typically the strength. Like they play in unison all 3 levels, but I think their secondary is a strength more than it is like their front 7. But you got to be able to establish something on the ground, bro.
But see, this is where I think that Debo and Terry should help the ground game, because now, I mean, you know, when you look at a Dallas or, you know, those games where we're getting stifled in the run game, they're stacking the box. Now, if Terry comes back and if Terry can, you know, prove that he's been that guy that he's been over his career, maybe he can make them pay for stacking the box. You know, I mean, maybe Debo makes them pay, but Cliff has to get a little bit creative. I think that starts with the run game and how he utilizes the run game. I think Debo may have to get some carries in this game. Bill, we need to see a little bit more J-Mac with some carries, man. I mean, the dude has done nothing but make tough runs and make plays every time he touches the ball. So I think you have to lean on those guys a bit more. J-Mac. I always call him J-Mac.
Oh, McNichols?
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord.
It's a habit of mine, man. That's J-Mac right there, man.
And you know what's
crazy? When you balling, bro.
That fair enough. I honestly was thinking about Jeremy Maclin. I swear to God. So I was like, oh, bro.
Yeah, that's J-Mac, man. J-Mac the baller. But no, I mean, you got to start leaning on those guys, man. Like, I mean, they haven't been able to get off. And again, those are stacked boxes. And it's kind of hard when everyone kind of knows that they can't respect your passing game. So that's why I say with a Terry and a Debo coming back this week, you should start commanding some of that respect. And I do think that guys like Jalen Lane and Luke McCaffrey, for what it's worth, I think they got valuable experience with these guys out there. They had to step up in different ways. And I thought Jalen Lane started to show more capabilities in the pass game, especially last week. So, you know, when Debo comes back, Terry comes back this week, I'm assuming Debo may be playing in the slot. Maybe Jalen plays on the outside. But either way, he's gained enough experience. And I think he's also gained enough of Jalen's trust. Oh, I mean, Jaden, he did gain Jaden's trust, but Marcus, while he's in the game, that they can be threats in the passing game. Like that's an additional threat in the passing game. So that should open up the run. At least that's my hope. And as far as Connolly goes, man, I do think you're going to have to give him some help in this game. That's who they're going to attack. That's who they're going to put Karlaftis over there on. They may even line Chris Jones over there a little bit on him. John Bates is probably going to be huge in this game.
Chris Jones, he does play. They do send him on the edge sometimes. So, like, Chris Jones can definitely probably see some reps against Connolly.
Yep. So that's why I say you're probably going to have John Bates be a key part in this game. John Bates is going to have to probably chip over there a lot. So we'll see. But like I said, Cliff's going to have to get creative in this game. The Spags is no joke with that defense.
Yeah. One more quick thing just to add is more so like also outside of like the one-on-one matchups, the stunts and line games. I think that's going to be big too. Like everybody's eyes going to have to be on point. Not to say that they're super good at it. I actually have no idea how good or bad they are in the line games. The Kansas City Chiefs are, but this is more so just acknowledgement of respecting the coordinator. So I think that's kind of where my head is at when I think about what Spags can bring defensively. So if we flip the side to the other side of the ball, and let me check in with the chat. I'm sorry. I did see somebody, of course, Moneyball saying that. I wonder who he's actually talking about. One of Adam Peters.
He found somebody that agrees with him.
Is on the show. Yeah, for sure. But shout out to Skins fan and Just B for checking in. Everybody that's and Coley. What's up? Everybody that's checking in live. He said need more Rodriguez. Skins fan said if Terry's going to be in the
no,
if Terry's going to be
who was Adam Peters' number one?
Hey,
He's talking about me.
I'm about to say, I'm Brian Robinson, number one guy. So it's either you or AJ about Peters, but it may be AJ because you're the Kevin Sheehan guy. So like he got something.
Whatever Kevin Sheehan think, that's who I think. That's what I think.
And all right, let me go back. My bad. Skins fan Terry going to be in preseason mode for a couple weeks. Not going to lie, not going to expect much, even if he does play this week. I'm in the same boat, like in terms of expectations. I don't have too much expectations.
I expect much. I got high expectations.
I like overall I do, but I don't know if he's going about it. I can't see him hitting the ground running. Like that's going to be if he does, that's going to be my biggest surprise from Terry this season is that he finally came back from his 1,000th injury, slicing it, and he came back hitting the ground running.
A higher standard than a lot of players, mainly because I've seen him do it at a high level for so long. And on top of that, I'm thinking about the injury, and you all supposedly kept this guy out until he's 100%. I'm expecting Terry when he get out there. I don't expect a pitch count, nothing. I expect Terry to be Terry out there. It's going to be up to Mariota whether he can get him the ball or not, but I expect Terry to go out there and be who Terry can be.
And like Monty said, I just need receivers to catch the ball. Skins fans said, "Hey, Mual, does Cliff have outside runs in this game or what? A toss wouldn't hurt." Yeah, they got crack toss. They got it too. And like they got zone schemes, but like the trap runs is like their staple. Like the power runs, it is their staple. They do go off tackle, but it's not. To your point, and what you're noticing, it's actually not a bad idea to utilize it more. It may just be team dependent, like who they're going up against. But yeah, to your point. Wouldn't be a bad idea to see what else they got. All right, defensively, who gonna stop Travis Kelce? Rashee Rice is coming off his game, his debut for the season, and he had 7 catches. Damn, 10 targets, 10 targets, bro. 7 catches, 42 yards. Not the yardage wise, not nothing spectacular, but yes, 2 touchdowns. In his 2025 season debut, but 10 targets in one game is a lot. They was not fucking around. Yeah, but my thing is, who gonna stop Travis Kelce? That chemistry, just the general chemistry that they have, him and Pat Mahomes, like they can make their post snap decisions and be on the same exact page, like based on how they're reading the coverage. And like I think for every time I just think about these linebackers and this deep, bro, I can't help but laugh. Like I visibly can see Kelce just fucking these guys up, like because they just sometimes they just are completely out of position, bro. And I think this is a game made for Kelce. And in the sense for Washington, I think this is a game where they cannot afford to let Kelce take over on that intermediate level, because we're talking about first down receptions. Like you need to limit him to like those 3-yard catches.
Look, I'm kind of numb as to being scared by opposing players at this point, because I just feel like we can't really stop anybody. Like everybody on everyone's offense look like Michael Myers.
You're going in the trash on the defense. You like you ain't even worried about
until they show me more. They're gonna have to show me that they can do something at a competent level for a consistent 60 minutes in a game. You know, I mean, they may get the occasional stop here or there, but there's no confidence going into any game that this is going to be a unit that can get consistent stops throughout a game. And yeah, I mean, looking at the Chiefs' offense, everybody scares me. Everybody looks like Michael Myers on their offense at this point. Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown. I mean, Pacheco, all of those dudes look scary to me. But yeah, I mean, I get it, Travis Kelce, because we've had trouble, covering tight ends all year. Like, what are you going to do? I mean, and if we're going to, try to get into it, my guess, I mean, what did you think about Jordan McGee? I mean, I mean, I know he didn't play a lot of snaps, but when I'm trying to think of how to get speed in the middle of the field. And I know Jordan McGee has the speed. We just don't get to see him often. But how do you think he looked? Is he ready for more snaps? And do you think he could be of some kind of assistance in this game against Kansas City? Well, at least as far as covering the tight end.
Well, this is actually a good time to interject and ask about your opinion on Dan Quinn's pressure, because he was asked some things about the defense. He was also asked about changes defensively. What did you take away from his pressure? And the reason why I bring this in, and I'll be quick because we got a couple minutes and we get to the ad break. This defense, you can't tell. We can't project what changes are about to be made. So it's hard for me to answer what I think about Jordan McGee when only thing I could picture is Bobby Wagner staying on the field.
Yeah. And I mean, Jordan McGee, from my neck of the eye, he looks like he can, get a couple of snaps in, and he looks like he's ready for a little bit more. He seems like he does things well, but as far as Dan Quinn's presser, I mean, it's hard you got to kind of decipher through what's real and what's not in a lot of these pressers, because a lot of
coach speak. Yeah, you got
a lot of stuff. Coach speak. Now, I do think now a lot of people I think got upset because they didn't hear him come out flat out and say there's going to be personnel changes. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I don't think he's going to come out and say that on Thursday before the game on Monday that he's going to come out bench so-and-so. I think if we find out there's going to be personnel changes, we're going to see that throughout the game. And it may not even be like a huge noticeable difference. And maybe one of those subtle things where you notice this guy just hasn't gotten as many snaps as this guy. I think those are the things you're going to kind of watch for when you look for the changes. But it's going to be interesting because Dan Quinn said a lot. He said, oh, we're going to improve. And he also mentioned something about kind of limiting the play calls where they aren't playing faster. Like he said something to that effect. Like we got to eliminate the calls where we're not playing fast. We're hesitating on the calls. And I remember, hearing people saying that throughout the season, like, why are they calling this play? Why are they calling that play? Now, I don't know how much to take from that from Dan Quinn as far as if this is really something that we're going to see, like they're going to take out some of the stuff that's been confusing to the guys, something that's been damaging to the guys. But if there's any truth to Dan Quinn's statement, and let's say, they go out there and they actually look a little bit better with some of this simplified play calling that Dan Quinn likes is talking about, I will be questioning why did it take this long to get to that point. Now, I, for one, don't know if I believe it, because I think Dan Quinn is just trying to say anything at this point in these pressers, just to make it seem like he has some answers at this point without saying it's the personnel, because, I mean, a lot of it is the personnel. Let's be honest. Like, what can you do about it? But at the same time, I'm looking at it from the standpoint of you have to try something different. At least the appearance is something different. Even if it's the personnel, even if you keep saying weekly that you can't do much with this personnel, you have to at least give off the optics that you're doing something different. Because if you go out there, you just do the same thing every week. You run out the same guys every week. You run out the same play calls every week. How can I eliminate coaching as being an issue? I wouldn't know that because you're doing the same thing every week. But if you give me the optics or you give me the appearance that you're at least trying something different, and if it still doesn't work, then I can say, yeah, these guys just don't get it, no matter what you call, no matter what you do, no matter who you put in personnel-wise, they just don't get it. But until they try something different, everything's on the table at this point. So people are looking to these coaches. They're looking to Dan Quinn for some answers. And hopefully we see some soon, but my expectations are very low on that, man. Like, I don't have high expectations for it.
All right, let's go ahead. We can kind of close the book on the defense side of the ball after we finish speaking with Tashan. But right now, let's go ahead and have a word about these people over here at Underdog Fantasy. Football season is in full swing, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower, such as stats like rushing yards, receptions, touchdowns, and more. So I've done Thursday night. We've done Sunday night. Let's see what we have for the daytime, I like, what was the game? Dallas and Denver was a good one. I would do Monday night, but that's too far away. And Underdog, they take forever to get their props together. So we're gonna do Dallas and Denver, where there can be a bunch of offense being had. I'm doing it's crazy that I say that, right? I'm going lower on 254 passing yards for Dak Prescott. Even though I like CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, I think the Broncos are they're gonna come out trying to make a statement after the game they just gave up to the New York Giants, giving up 30-something points. That's ridiculous. So lower on Dak Prescott's 254.5 passing yards. That's also a hate pick, by the way. I am hating on Dak. To hell with him. We're going to go higher on Jake Ferguson's touchdowns, though. Higher at 0.5. We're going to go higher on his rushing receiving touchdowns. Bo Nix, we're going to go higher on his passing touchdowns. That's at 1.5. His rushing yards looks good, too, 23.5. But I think that we'll have a couple passing touchdowns from Bo Nix. And then we will go, where's the receptions? Higher on CeeDee Lamb receptions, which is at 5.5. So let's run this back. We got higher on CeeDee Lamb's receptions, 5.5. We're going higher on Bo Nix's touchdowns, 1.5. We're going higher on Jake Ferguson's rushing receiving touchdowns at 0.5. And then we're going to go lower on Dak Prescott passing yards, 254.5. Download the app today. Sign up promo code TRAPPERDIVE to score $100 in bonus funds or bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code TRAPPERDIVE. Underdog. Make picks. Win money.
Be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
All right. So let's go ahead and get Tashan Reed in here. Like I said, everybody that's checking in live, if he is the new beat reporter, or fairly new now, got a few weeks under his belt, for the Washington Post, coming from the Las Vegas Raiders beat. Let's go ahead and bring him on the show. And there we go. Tashan Reed is joining us right now. What's going on, boss man? How you feeling?
I'm good. How y'all living?
Appreciate you.
Doing good, bro. Appreciate you joining us, man. You joined the beat week 2, right? Week 3, something like that, right around that time.
Week 3, yeah. It was Raiders week.
Yeah,
so about a month ago.
So I was telling Dre, bro, like this is a crazy time because like the Raiders for a little while now they ain't been good, right? But then you come to Washington and you kind of have star power in like Jaden Daniels, and like the year that they had 12-5, it's like conference championship game. You're like, God. On my end, I'm like, God damn, like, you walking into a good situation here. And then it's the sky's falling. I don't know how many Skins fans you following on social media, but from the standpoint of like what was last year, what happened in the offseason, and then compared to like week 8 of the season that you're getting ready for, like this team. What is it looking like from your perspective, just like the way things have gone since you've been here?
Yeah, I think it was always going to be difficult for them to replicate the success that they had last season for a few reasons. I think last year they surprised a lot of people. You snuck up on a lot of teams because, people didn't really expect the Commanders to be where they were last season, if everybody's being honest. And then, coming out of that, you have a much more difficult schedule this year as a result, going 12-5 last year and making that run. And so it was always going to be more challenging. And in some ways they got lucky last year. They didn't really deal with that many major injuries. They had a lot of those close down to the wire finishes. And, it takes some skill to pull those off as well, those clutch moments. But when you have things like the Fail Mary and stuff like that, it's like, all right, like a lot of this stuff like isn't really consistent from year to year. But I think the difference that's made this season go even poorly than a lot of people expected is the injuries. And I think that was pretty hard to foresee. Not just Jaden Daniels, but really the entire roster on both sides of the ball. I mean, all three starting receivers have gotten hurt. It seems like the entire defense is getting hurt. One new starter goes out for the season every week. And, this roster was one that, while it was talented, it wasn't particularly deep, I don't think, coming into this year. They didn't spend a ton of money in free agency. They haven't been aggressive on the veteran market. It's been more so drafting and kind of signing guys to those 1-year deals, those 2-year deals. Like, they haven't really taken a bunch of big swings, even though they had such a good season last year. And so this roster really wasn't prepared to incur the type of injuries that they have so far this year. And so it's looked uglier than I think most fans have expected. But with that being said, I mean, they're still 3-4, and it's not like, they're where the Raiders are. You mentioned them earlier, and it's like the season's already over. Like, there's still some time here to turn it around. In theory, it's going to be tough. I mean, you got the Chiefs this week, Seahawks the week after that, the Lions after that. So, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, the schedule is much more difficult than it was last year. So there's less margin for error. But I think that's kind of contributed to them getting off to the sluggish start.
And Tashan, now I know you're kind of still getting to know a lot of the people here as far as the coaching staff and whatnot, but a lot of the fan base, I know, from just kind of getting a pulse of things, especially today, they're getting more frustrated, maybe in a sense, even more so with Dan Quinn, in that they feel like he's not giving answers as far as like what he's going to do, if he's going to make any changes, specifically on the defensive side of the football. What can you say, or what have you gathered as far as the vibe is and the sense of urgency from the coaching staff? And do you, even though you may not have heard Dan Quinn go out there and say, I'm going to do this X, Y, and Z, do you feel like some changes could be on the way? And that could be personnel-wise, first and foremost. But what is your vibe as far as the urgency from the coaching staff and Dan Quinn?
I mean, I think the urgency is there for sure. You can just look at his demeanor in the post-game press conference after the Dallas Cowboys. He didn't say a whole bunch, but it was clear he was pissed off. And he talked about it today again. He feels like this team, they just kind of just didn't feel like themselves last week. They feel like their identity has been slipping, and that's something that they work to address internally this week. That's something that's not just on the coaching staff, but also from the players within the locker room, kind of getting on top of that. But in terms of him not like answering things clearly or whatever in the public, like, I think a lot of that is just gamesmanship. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not about to say, yeah, I'm benching so-and-so, we changing this coverage, like we're not running this anymore. Like you just, some of that is like, it's not smart to do as a coach. And so I think fans have to, understand what that is. It's not like he's not considering changes or not going to do things, but I don't know how many drastic moves they really can make when it comes to personnel because of those injuries. Like, they're already working in guys that typically, would be mostly on special teams, like a Jeremy Reeves, for example, or some of these other guys in the edge rusher position after all these injuries is really thin. Like, there ain't too many guys you can go get off the bench, at this point. Like, and it's difficult to, guys who are still on the free agent market aren't really difference makers, and you can say go out and trade for somebody, but last year, when they did that with the Lattimore deal, that didn't quite go as expected. And so there's some risk to that as well. And so personnel-wise, I'm not sure there's a ton of they can change. I think it's more so going to have to come down to scheme at this point. And Dan Quinn mentioned today they're going to try to simplify things on the defensive side of the ball. He feels like they've been doing a little bit too much thinking, not playing as free and as fast as they would like to. And the player said that as well. Bobby Wagner spoke about that in the locker room as well. He thinks guys are kind of scared to make mistakes to a degree, and that's not letting them, react to things as quickly. And it's kind of contributed to them being slower than their opponents out there. And so I think that's what it's going to have to come down to is scheme adjustments and ways to tweak it in that fashion. Because, I mean, at this point in the calendar, it's just kind of tough to make, big time personnel moves.
This, like, hearing what you said, or like just about them being scared to make mistakes, makes me laugh, because it's like, if you just look at the tape, like, that's all you see. And it's like, you got people running into each other. I'm like, well, how does simplifying prevent that? I don't understand that. And I think about, like, actually, I'll just put it in the ball is in your court. Scheme wise, personnel wise, you don't have to do 1,000 things, but one thing that you would do scheme wise, whether it's blitzing more, playing the forward, just rushing the 4, rushing 3 or something, however you see fit, scheme wise and even personnel wise, one thing that you would do that would, you think, can help this defense out, I guess, for the intermediate or the rest of the season, I guess.
I guess on a simplifying note, like, I'll give an example from last game, the big play where CD's long touchdown where Lattimore and I think it was Quan Martin ran into each other. But that's an example of like they were running a pretty exotic coverage on that one. Like it was covered 2, but instead of having the cornerback, or my bad, the quarterback drop deep and the safety, or a safety drop deep and the cornerback play underneath, they actually did it in reverse. That's why Lattimore was over the top and Quan Martin as a safety was underneath. That probably looked weird on the broadcast. People were probably wondering why Lattimore was coming down on the play, given that he's not a safety. But they basically were trying to flip the coverage to confuse the offense, and it ended up just working out where they were running into each other, and it turned into a long touchdown. So things like that, where it might be like maybe you're doing a little bit too much, and being a little bit too complex, and simplifying that call, for example, could be something that maybe avoids an explosive play in that situation. But in terms of what I would change, I think it's actually, they probably stand to benefit from getting a little bit less aggressive. You look at the stats; they're top 10 in man coverage and blitz rate. And I just don't think this defense is really built to live on the edge like that. For one, it hasn't really been working when it comes to forcing turnovers and forcing those disruptive plays. Like it's more so getting them burned, and they just don't seem to have the personnel to run that type of system. So I think working in more zone coverage, like you said, rushing 4 more often, kind of going with more of that bend don't break approach, I probably think is the better route, because you can blitz more often if you want to, play more man if you want to, but the way it's been going, like I don't really know that's going to be beneficial for you. Probably going to lead some more big plays more so than it helps you. And so I think they probably need to go the other way and try to adjust on defense in that manner.
Now, Tashan, keeping you a head coach here, but we're flipping over to the offensive side of the football. Now, I'm asking you this because I know you have some familiarity with the Chiefs, obviously covering the Raiders and whatnot. But what would be the best approach that Cliff can take in this game to keep this game even competitive? I'm not even going to say somewhat competitive. These are 2 NFL teams. They can be competitive. But what would you do in Cliff's approach? Without Jaden, hopefully you're getting Debo and Terry back. What's the best approach to attack this Steve Spagnuolo defense?
I think it's got to come with establishing the run. I know that's a football cliche, but that's for a couple of years now, that's been sort of the soft spot of the Chiefs defense is they can be had on the ground. I think the tough part is they score so much that you end up having to, throw the ball a lot, trying to keep up with them. And I think they have to, especially with the way that the Commanders defense has been struggling, they got to try to avoid that kind of scenario by any means possible. And so not having Jaden out there obviously hurts the passing game. They could get a lift this week with Terry McLaurin and Debo Samuel returning to action. That'll make it a little bit tougher for these defenses to stack the box like they've been doing in recent weeks and, play single high coverage. And, they have to respect them more on the outside if McLaurin and Debo are back out there. So that could be something that helps open up the run game. I think we saw it, early on this season, the run game was really flowing and Ja'Cory, Bill Krosky-Merritt was really rolling. And the last couple of weeks is really slowed down for them. They haven't been quite as effective. And I think part of that is the receiver injuries. And defense is kind of just saying, well, we don't respect the pass game. We're just going to sell out on the run. And so I think making them respect that, with getting the receivers back on the outside should help. And then just staying consistent with the run game. I think sometimes this season they've got a little bit too far away from it where you look up and they've only run the ball a few times in a quarter, or they've gone a long time with passing the ball a bunch of times in a row. I don't think they can really afford to do that in this one. You have a couple of those quick 3 and outs and all of a sudden you're down 14-0 against the Chiefs on the road, and it's pretty much over with for you. So I think establishing that run early on is going to be really key in this one.
What do you think, generally, like teams that play Kansas City, what do you think like the commonality is in terms of like the biggest mistakes that they make? What do you think that is for them?
I think it's kind of like the Patriots back in the day, like where teams go against them and you start doing too much. It's like remember that one time where the Colts like had that fake punt and it was like one lineman
in their own territory. Like, what the fuck,
it's like the teams just start acting super out of character when they go against the Chiefs, so they feel like they have to, be superhuman and do all these crazy things to beat them, and that just makes it easier for the Chiefs to beat you. And so I think it's, it sounds easier said than done, but you kind of just stick to your guns and your process and don't get too out of character because it's probably not going to work out for you if you do. And so Commanders, it's tough for them in this one because they're missing so many of their key pieces, especially with Jaden. Obviously, the offense revolves around him, but I think keeping it simple, as I said, whether establishing the run on the offensive side of the ball, not getting too cute on the defensive side of the ball, trying to limit mistakes as much as possible with turnovers and penalties, not getting in your own way. You have to play a clean game because any mistake that you make, the Chiefs tend to make you hurt, on that one. So I think that's kind of the main thing that I've seen, especially, the Raiders, every time they played the Chiefs, they lost pretty much, it wasn't too many wins in there, but teams in general, they tend to just get a little bit too out of body against the Chiefs.
And my last question for me, and this is just about Terry. Now, I know there's been some chatter with the fan base and what to expect from him this week. Now, I'm not sure how much as far as injury, where he's at with it. I mean, we know he practiced fully, but if he's out there on Sunday, can we expect the full Terry McLaurin experience, or should we be monitoring pitch counts or whatnot?
I think you should expect the full experience. It seems like they were very careful about not bringing him back until he could be that. I think that's, like last week, for example, they were hoping that he would have a full week of practice. He got out there, didn't feel right. They pulled him back out. And so they've been really cautious. And so if he has a full week of practice without any setbacks, it's going to be full go, against the Chiefs on Monday. And they need him to be. I mean, there's really no other way, especially with Jaden being out, that they're going to be able to hang with this team. So same goes for Debo. And so I don't really see them limiting those guys in any sort of way. Like, it's nice that, guys like Jalen Lane and Luke McCaffrey and whatnot have gotten more reps in his absence, and that they can kind of rotate off the bench and be more effective maybe than they would have been without that experience. But you don't really want Terry McLaurin on the pitch count in this one.
And we don't need to start thinking about number 3s and number 4s starting and averaging a catch a game. Like, that drives me crazy. Like, I'm gonna leave it there. I think my last question, do you think that this stretch, including the Dallas game, so it's a 5-game stretch, ending with the Dolphins, I think that's right before the bye week. Do you think that this stretch makes or breaks the actual rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can end it before the Dolphins one. I think it's these next 3 games, the Chiefs, Seahawks, and Lions. It's 3 and 7 is on the table. You know what I mean? And I think if you fall to that mark, the season's pretty much going to be a wrap at that point. Like, anything's possible. You can go on a run after the bye, but it's just tough to see a team digging themselves out of that type of hole. We mentioned the Chiefs without Jaden. Like, crazy things have happened, but most likely that's going to be a loss this week. Look ahead, having the Seahawks at home on Sunday Night Football last week. Sam Darnold, JSN, their offense has really been lighting it up so far this season. And you had the Lions, who, have been a juggernaut for the last couple of seasons. It's going to be tough to avoid it. I think they have to come out of that stretch at least 4 and 6. Like, they can't lose all 3. If they lose all 3, I think the season is a wrap. But if you come out 4 and 6, then you can beat the Dolphins 5 and 6, because it's the Dolphins. The way they're looking, they probably gonna have a new head coach soon, going into that Madrid game. If you're close to 500, hovering around there, like, that's not ideal. I get fans have had high expectation this season, but you're still in range there, and you can salvage the season coming out of the bye week. So I think 5 and 6 going into the bye, 4, and that sort of has to be the area that they're in to keep the season alive.
Tashan, man, appreciate you joining us. I want to give you the floor just to plug anything and everything that you got going on, boss, man. I appreciate you joining us again.
Appreciate y'all having me. Follow me on social at Tashan Reed. Subscribe to the Washington Post. Me and Tom Shad over there started this year as a new beat crew. I had a story come out today on, kind of how the season has gone off track for Jaden Daniels. Got to have some more stuff coming out through the weekend leading up to the Monday Night Football game. So subscribe and come give us a read. You
find a favorite restaurant in the city yet, or are you still? Are you on the VA side or DC?
Yeah.
Like you okay, I'm about to say out
there.
I'm
in Arlington, so going out to the facility in Ashburn every day is better to be on this side. But I've been on the go so much, but I'll say Pho Wheels is probably my favorite spot so far.
Oh, you're a pho person.
It's like this Vietnamese like food truck.
Oh yeah, it's a food truck. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a stand that used to be whatever, but they got oxtail in there, tacos.
They got oxtail.
Whoa.
Wait, no, I did hear it. Like, yeah, because
I haven't heard
it was
that
something I saw on Source. Yeah, it's like Jamaicans and Asian. I forgot which Asian culture, but like Jamaican and like it was like this battle online. But Asians wasn't familiar with Jamaicans games, so they was like, "Oh my bad, y'all got it." But yeah,
are they like in what part of Arlington? Like the Wilson Boulevard, Clarendon Boulevard, or
many names. Crystal City is where I live at. It's around.
Okay,
here.
There we go. That's say less. I know where that's at. There we go. So I'm gonna have to make a trip over there. I'm not far.
I'm not familiar. You said faux. It's a faux spot.
Wheels.
Four wheels.
All right.
He said
all right.
oxtail. That just blew my mind right there. So we
all right, man. Well, you know, we furlough brothers, bro. We can make that trip.
I'm still in the office, so.
Oh yeah, you are. Yeah, my bad.
That's why I said
don't put them on that yet.
Still in the office.
Yeah, you put the furlough on you.
I'm not making money, but I mean, we in the same boat.
Yeah, we both in the same boat, bro.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm at home all day, every day till they say it's time to go back to work. But they got that man in the office. Hey, it's all good, man. Appreciate you, bro. Enjoy your weekend. Stay safe. And hopefully we get a goddamn dub, bro. We need it. But all right, boss man.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you, Tashan.
Yes, sir. Right. There is Tashan, and boom. There we go. As always, man, appreciate y'all that's watching live. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm gonna check in with the chat, and we can get up out of here with our over-unders and our score predictions and MVP. We did say we was gonna spend the block on defense, but I think we got, the offensive side, but I think we got enough from our conversation with Tashan. So. Jamal, what's up, Mike? He said, I'm scared of KC. Good Lord. Well, guess what? You know what's so wild, bro? I was so adamant. I think I said this on the last show. I was so adamant that Kansas City's like down season, quote unquote down, as in like they weren't going to be number one in the division. I was so adamant that was happening this year, and Denver is still in first place. But let it be for Washington that they got to play next. And they're still on the climb to get back into number one. Like it's so crazy that it's lining up this way. Like we're not a good team right now, so it's like we're helping them get back to first place. And I just said all the shit that I said in the offseason. What's up, AJ?
Cool, man.
Better late than never. Business before pleasure.
Nah,
you made it for the last 7 minutes of the show, bro. Appreciate
it. I just got out the hospital, bro. So yeah.
Well, we'll check in with you, brother. Hope everything good.
Yeah,
I'm good. It's just
I can't even crack a joke, bro.
I just been in there for the last 6 hours. I don't know, but I'm straight. That's why I'm here. So I apologize for my extreme tardiness, but
the Moneyball was looking for you. He said, man, he's sick of waiting on you, man.
He said the show don't start for what did he say? He said the show don't start for AJ until 7:15 or some shit.
Nah, but yeah, you can continue with your over and unders.
All right, I'm just checking in with the chat right quick. He said, okay, Moneyball gave a compliment, bro. What? Let me go ahead and start
backhanded compliment, bro. He had to give me a backhanded compliment.
Said low key, Dre low key a good speaker. Got to give him some type of credit. That's
damn, I'll take it. If it's from Moneyball, that's the nicest thing.
Because it's three brothers, you didn't think we could articulate ourselves? Like, wait, what you mean? Well. I hate when people say that, bro. Like, what we supposed to be like? Yeah, son. Yeah, Mo. You know what I'm talking about? Like, bro, that is definitely a backhand compliment all the way. I hate when other black people be like, man, you speak well. you really know how to talk. Wait,
Moneyball, that's the nicest thing he ever gonna say about me.
Hey, Moneyball, give me a compliment. Give me and AJ a compliment before we get up out of here. Let's get our over and unders out the way. Amani said 5 and 6 into the bye week would be the best case scenario. Shout out to the trapper that's in here. Shout out to all the trappers that's happening. Al too. I know you on the other side of the pond, so I know you check in when you can. But shout out to the trapper on the other side of the pond. Prayers up, jive turkey. All right. So let's get to our over and unders. Let me go to let me see if Underdog actually has the game up. They got all okay. Yeah, they got all Chiefs in here.
All right, cool. I was gonna say, I guess why you figured that out, man, just to remind those that listen to Trap or Dive, we're now taking ownership of doing like some home rallies and trying to get you guys to engage with us. So November 1st, before the Seattle Seahawks game, Trap or Dive alongside D'Angelo Entertainment will be hosting another Commanders rally November 1st from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. It'll be hosted by Washington Redskins legend, the great running back, Clem Portis, and the future and the present. Y'all favorite running back, Bill. Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, aka Bill, is also going to be hosting alongside Clem Portis. So come out, meet the guys, get some stuff signed, just kick back, chill, relax, and get an opportunity to even engage with myself, Mual, Dre, and the rest of the team. And we also got other top Commander podcasters hosting this event alongside us. For more information, you can check out our social media, Trapper Dive, or our personal pages to see what all is going on and who's all a part of it. But we would love to have you guys out. Jay Tyler, who's your favorite? You like
Chris
Edmonds?
No, Chris Rodriguez.
Yeah, nah, C-Rod.
C-Rod will be there too, so you can come see him.
Hey, shout out to AJ, man. He didn't call him Jakrowski. He made sure to get the name right when he was giving that promo. That's a smart business savvy man right there, bro.
I've learned over the last 72 hours. I always thought it was Jakrowski, but it's Ja'Cory.
So now are you just gonna call him Bill? You can just call him Bill now, right?
I'll tell you what I call him in the group chat.
Yeah, hopefully we keep having some more because y'all know where I'm gonna be. Unfortunately, but I want to be here with the fellas, man. I got severe FOMO dealing with this shit. All right, over unders. We're gonna go to a place that I cannot name on this show, but we'll go to this app and we will go to. Huh?
Can you hear me?
Can hear you now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I said, if you're going to where you're going for the reason that you showed, I would not be having no FOMO.
This man, of course, is called drops. Let's go ahead. Let's finish this out. Shout out to AJ for popping in. He gave the ad at the right time.
Hey, ad break with AJ. That's what that was.
Ad break with AJ. All right. So we're gonna do. Where are the regular props? All right. Over unders. Let's hear it, chat. Over unders. We're gonna go start with Pat Mahomes. He's at 275.5 passing yards. Are we gonna go higher or lower on Pat Mahomes passing yards?
I don't think I've seen this passing total been that high.
Yeah, it's a little wild, ain't it?
Yeah, that means that it ain't gonna respecting us, which means I wouldn't bet money on this, but I'm gonna say under just because I think that number's a little exaggerated. So under.
That shit high for a reason, bro. I'm going higher. I ain't gonna lie to you. And I hope to God I'm wrong.
I won't put money on it.
Yeah, Jay Tizzy said under on Mahomes. Coley said over. Marcus Mariota's at 200.5. I think that's gonna go higher, especially if they got Terry and Debo.
That's tough.
But I think we're talking about like at 205, 210, something like that. It ain't like no 250.
I think it's gonna be more of an emphasis on the run this week. I'm gonna have him. I don't think he's gonna be far off, but I'm gonna say under. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be far off.
Okay. Amani said over for Pat as well. All right, so we're at the running game. We're gonna go Pacheco and Bill. Pacheco is at 49.5 rushing yards. We're gonna go over or under on that.
Under.
Yeah,
I'm going under. I think the defense finally has to step up in the run game. They've been bad in the run against the run the last couple of weeks, but they haven't been bad all season. So maybe this is the bounce back game.
I'm going over. Ben said over. Jay Tizzy said, let me rewind. Sorry. Jay Tizzy said over for Mariota. Amani said under for Marcus. Monty said over for Pacheco. Jay Tizzy said under for Pacheco because he's some booty cheeks. Ben said double over, so I'm assuming he's saying Bill, which is at 47.5. He's going over. I'm going over as well. I think he'll get like 50. I think he'll get like a little 55 piece, something like that. I don't think he's about to go crazy. I hope he does, but I don't think he's about to go crazy. Where you at 47.5, higher or lower on Bill?
Higher. I'm going higher. I think Bill finally has breaks the slump. I'm gonna put in quote slump, the little mini slump he's had. I think he goes over.
Okay. We have under on Bill for Coley. Let's go to receiving yards, and then we can. Oh yeah, Washington. I mean, this other app doesn't have Washington props either. That's how screwed Washington is with their injuries.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and just keep it to the Chiefs. We'll do 2 of them. Travis Kelce, we'll do Rashee Rice. Travis Kelce's at 42.5. We're gonna go higher or lower?
Higher.
I'm with you. We're gonna go higher on Travis Kelce. He's actually surprisingly averaging 12 yards a catch. And he has over 35 catches this year. I thought he would have been a little bit lower in terms of his average for him at 37 years old. But
I'm actually surprised at the over/under number being that low. I thought that would have been around 50, but yeah, that's why I'm going higher.
Yeah, I'm higher as well. Let me check in with the chat. Jay Tizzy said under on Bill. I think that's a hate pick, by the way, just like I hate picked on Dak Prescott earlier. Coley said over. Monty said over on Bill. Mozzie said over. Excuse me, Mozzie said higher. Ben said over. JT said over on Kelce. And then we're going to end it with Rashee Rice. 67.5, higher or lower. You go first.
I'm going to say over. And I say that because the target rate he had last week with the low yardage. I think if he gets that many targets against this defense, he's going to definitely get an explosive play. So over.
I'm going to go over as well. I think they going if you get 10 targets, like if you get 10 targets first day back, like they getting the ball in your hands, bro. Yeah. They said, you know what, we missed you. Let me show you how much we missed you. And they throwing the ball any chance they get to that guy.
Yeah.
So Jay Tizzy said over, Mossy said over. All right, let's get into our score prediction. Let's get to our MVP. You went first.
All right. So I think the spread is at 12 in this game. I think Washington covers. I got Washington covering. I don't think they're going to get blown out in this game. I think they actually surprisingly play with pride, and screw me if I'm wrong, for believing that they will play with pride. So I'm going to go 34-26 Kansas City. So 34-26 Kansas City.
Okay.
It's a fluky score.
Well, streaks are meant to be broken, and we got the right quarterback to do it. Marcus Mariota is undefeated against the Kansas City Chiefs. So let me tell y'all how this game gonna go. I bet y'all like how that started. It's not going that way. I think Washington loses, but I do think it's a closer game than the books would like to, but like for you to believe. It's at 11.5 or 12.5, depending on where you look right now. I think Washington is at it's like 35-26. And honestly, to be honest with you, Dre, if I'm being more realistic, I don't think Washington scores that much. Not with Marcus. So if I want to readjust my score and my final score after I didn't spit that one out, I'm going to say the final score is like 30-19 or 30-20. That's what my final score is going to be. I think the MVP, unfortunately, is going to be on the Kansas City Chiefs for obvious reasons. But I think that's going to end up being either Travis Kelce or Pat. And I'll go Travis. I'll go Pat. Sorry, I'll go to quarterback.
Pat will be my MVP as well. Yes, unfortunately.
Checking with the chat. Ben's, God damn. 49-23 Chiefs.
Then so they about to drop damn near 50 piece on us. God damn.
Yeah, Jay Tizzy said 31-30 Washington. We're going to get pressure on Mahomes. Look, everybody get pressure on Mahomes, but I know what you're saying.
But I want to know who we get that pressure from this week. Without a Dorrance Armstrong, how do we generate that pressure? I hope you're right, J-Town.
Jesus. Oh, he said 31-30 KC. Okay. All right. Where are we at? Coley, 27-10 KC. Amani, 31-17 Chiefs. Okay. Yeah, that was bold, J-Tizzy. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was like, bro, you got Washington winning what?
Hey,
I was like, respect. Yeah, I respect it. All right. That's gonna wrap it up for us. Trap or Dive late night, man. We here, win, lose, or draw Monday night. We will be here with everybody. Schedule-wise, next week, I'll say this now, and I'll say this on Monday too. I'm saying this now so I won't forget. Next week, we'll have the Trap or Dive Late Night Monday. We'll have all 32. And then we won't have a Commander show on Tuesday. We will have just one show next week, and that'll be on Wednesday. That'll cover like the aftermath of the Chiefs game, and then we will preview the Seattle game as well on Wednesday. So just keep that in mind. No show on Thursday, and then no show on Tuesday for Commanders. All right, boom. Hey, enjoy the rest of the weekend or the week. Enjoy your weekend. The fellas will see you all on Monday, man. Hey, a day of Sunday free. Commanders free, man. Get to kick your feet up, do whatever you want to do. Go to a bar. Hey, that's a perfect time. Hey, Furlough Brothers, bro, we can do something.
Hey, it is what it is. I'm out here.
I was telling my friends, I said, look, bro, I'm starting to think we need to put up half on a bottle. Go back to the days we was in college, bro. Figure this thing out.
Everybody chip in.
Yeah, everybody chip in, bro. All right, that's gonna be it for us. Y'all take it easy, enjoy the weekend, all that good stuff. We about here, man. Peace.
Chop it down. Chop it down. Chop it down. You gon' chop it down. Chop it down. You gon' chop it down. Damn, set. Watch him throw the ball. We gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through fourth and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Dive.